shall go on to our last speaker, a very patient speaker at that, Dr. Swapna Shanbag, who's a young consultant ophthalmologist in cataract, cornea, and anterior segment from LVPI to display her brilliance. I hope many of us are there to watch you. On to you, Doctor.
I'm waiting for Sapna.
Yes. What's happening? Are you muted?
Okay.
Now she's unmuted.
Dr. Chitra?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for the opportunity to present at this forum. So I will just start with the case. So this was a 7-year-old female who was referred to us for removal of cement particles from the right eye. As you can see, the right eye had matted eyelashes, excoriation of the periocular skin, and no anterior segment details could be seen, and there was quite a lot of corneal haze. So we actually planned examination under general anesthesia and foreign body removal with amniotic membrane transplantation with a permanent tarsography. So this was a pediatric patient, and hence it is essential that everything should be done at the same sitting. So when we took her up for surgery, there were a lot of cement particles everywhere. So just for perspective, I've put up some clips from the surgical video. So as you can see, the amount of cement particles stuck to the upper tarsal conjunctiva were a lot. And they all had to be scraped with a 15-number blade. And still, when they could not be removed, we actually had to snip off some parts of the conjunctival epithelium so that it was possible to remove every single foreign body particle from the eye. At the same time, double eversion with a Demar's retractor is extremely essential in these cases so that you are able to reach up till the fornices to remove everything. And at the end, we did a amniotic membrane transplantation because she had no corneal epithelium left. And this was also sutured because it's a pediatric patient. And we did a tarsography, mainly because the patients, pediatric patients tend to rub their eyes. So it's better to do a tarsography, and it also heals the ocular surface a lot faster than when a tarsography is not done. And then we aggressively gave a lot of steroids, 1-hourly steroids, because the amount of ocular surface damage was a lot. And we did it under the cover of topical antibiotics. So this was her picture later, where we can see that there is still corneal haze. The suture can be seen. There's some amount of the perilimbal ischemia. However, we still continued topical steroids and didn't do anything much. The tarsography was still intact. And the left eye also had some foreign body particles, but they were just removed during the primary examination. And the left eye was practically doing very well later. This was the 5-week follow-up, where we can see that the ischemia is gone. The peripheral pannus formation has started. And this is the conjunctival epithelium, which is covering the cornea. So this is a very good healing response, and this is essential because you need some sort of epithelium to cover the cornea. Even if it's not corneal epithelium, that's okay. Conjunctival epithelium is fine. This is conjunctivalization. This is how it will progress to LSCD, and then we can manage it from there. Again, even the pannus formation had started 360 degrees at 1 month follow-up. We further tapered the steroids, took her up for an examination under anesthesia, did a suture removal. And this was a picture at 3 months of follow-up. As you can see, she had a symblepharon as in the inferonasal quadrant almost up till the pupillary axis, and also a pannus formation. So a diagnosis of right eye total LSCD with symblepharon was made, and the left eye was perfectly fine. So at this stage, we decided she was 3 months out of the acute chemical burn. We decided it was time to do a slit because this is a pediatric patient. If we don't intervene early, there is always a risk of amblyopia. So we planned a symblepharon release with conjunctival autographs with slit. And from the left eye, we harvested the conjunctiva and did the limbal biopsy. So what the surgical steps are such that first you look at the recipient eye, you assess the symlephera, you resect all the symlephera and the pannus. Then you measure the amount of bare sclera in the area where you have released the symlephera. so that you can take the adequate amount of conjunctiva from the contralateral eye. Then you go to the normal eye and you take the limbus and the conjunctiva according to what you have measured. And then the conjunctival grafts are first sutured to the bare sclera, and then you proceed with slit with amniotic membrane. And because this is a pediatric patient, we did do a lateral tarsography, which was temporary, not permanent. So I'll just show the surgical video. This is, I could not have put a speculum, and that's why I'm first resecting all the symblifera. There is symblifera here temporally and symblifera inferonasally. So after resecting all the symblifera, what I'm doing is I'm resecting the pannus concentrically, then back to the center. And then after resecting the pannus, I have placed the conjunctival autograft with fibrin glue. And then I have also sutured it with Vicryl. So I do this inferonasally to address that area and also temporally. As you can see here, once both the conjunctival autografts are placed, I put the amniotic membrane, secure it with fibrin glue, and then it is like a normal slit from the limbal biopsy from the other eye. And then we followed the normal protocol post-slit, where we give steroids with a tapering dosage of 6-5-4-3-2-1 under the cover of antibiotics. And we again did an examination under anesthesia 3 weeks later, released the tarsography, the BCL was removed. And this is her follow-up later, where we noted that the cornea was completely epithelialized. As you can see, we can see some of the slit explants on the surface, and also some form of lipid keratopathy. When we stain it with fluorescein, there was no epithelial defect anywhere on the surface, which means that slit has been successful. The cornea has been epithelialized. This is the left eye from which conjunctival autograft was taken, both superiorly and inferiorly, but there is no sign of any damage done to that eye 1 month down the line, and all the epithelium is healed. So this is 1 month down the line. Again, in all quadrant, we can see that the symblepharon has been addressed. The eye still looks inflamed because it's just 1 month. And this is the left eye. Again, the epithelium is completely healed. This looks fine. The eye does not show any signs of having undergone surgery. So this is a 1 year follow-up. The child is doing very well with 20/60 unaided and 20/20 with RGP contact lenses. And this is the eye at 1 year follow-up. As we can see on the ASOCT, there's a very nice epithelial lining that can be seen covering the cornea. And some amount of stromal haze is seen, but overall the patient has been doing very well. On this infrared image also, we can see the clarity of the cornea. And so this has been a good outcome with no recurrence of LSCD or symblifera 1 year down the line, and the patient has been doing very well. So the conclusion from this case is that in pediatric patients with ocular chemical burns, EUA is necessary, double eversion is a must. AMT should not be done without addressing and removing all the foreign body particles first. Limbal stem cell transplantation and ocular surface reconstruction has to be done early in the chronic stage to prevent the risk of amblyopia. And simultaneous management of both reduces the risk of repeat surgeries, repeat anesthesia, gives us faster visual rehabilitation and fewer postoperative visits. So this is the advantage over a staged management where you would first address the LSCD and then address the symblifera. And if acute burn is managed appropriately, the prognosis of the limbal stem cell transplantation in the chronic phase improves tremendously. Thank you for your patient listening.
That was a wonderful presentation and lots of learning. Very good. We have our expert panel with us who would like to give some comments.
I just wanted to say, Dr. Chitra Sainier, that, these are such difficult cases. Ocular surface amongst all the anterior segment diseases, ocular surface diseases are probably the most difficult to treat anyways. But, the cases that Swapna showed, the case that Swapna showed and the case that Shreyas showed, are such difficult cases otherwise to manage such severe presentations of the disease. But, it was so effortless the way in which they showed the surgery and so impressive, such impressive, almost miraculous outcomes. So I think it just goes to show that if you just follow the right principles and go step by step and just follow the simple rules of surgery and management, that you can achieve such good, impressive and predictable outcomes. So again, congratulations both to Swapna and to Shreyas.
Yes, that actually tells about the clarity of understanding of the whole disease process which they have. It was really very impressive. And any other questions, Dr. Geeta, Dr. Virendra, Sangwan?
I think the both these cases and also Madhu's cases shows is that the younger ocular surface surgeon, their surgical skills are so good that even very difficult cases turn out to so good. And otherwise this girl had such a devastating injury, but at the same time such a sight restoring surgery and management. I think it's very good for the country that we have wonderful surgeons spread throughout the country.
Anyone has anything to add, or should I go on to my concluding remarks? Because I think anyway we are late, we might learn something more before we end.
No, Dr. Chitra, I think it was a fantastic session. The way that the talks were arranged and the debates and the topics, they were so, many of them were obviously controversial, and we are still to have consensus on. But I think overall topics were very engaging and the speakers were fantastic. I just want to thank everyone, and also especially thank you for putting up this very, very engaging program.
And Chitra, you know that I was about to leave half an hour back, but I stayed back just to listen to these three young surgeons.
Yes, all your students, I'm sure. So that's how they have evolved to what they are today. Thanks a lot. So I think I should conclude now. I'm very sure we have gone through some of the most innovative of webinars here with such great minds and the great expert panel and truly amazing set of speakers who have left us actually with so much thoughts to muse on. My special thanks to my ARC team, AIOS admin team led by Mr. Kripal, who is such a great help. Sai and Manjula from Numerotech for keeping us afloat with all the efforts. Our webinar admin, Mr. Sunil, who you must be understanding already what was a huge helping hand. My very special thanks to Entoad for every support and encouragement they have given me, and ARC to go forward with their supportive sponsorships. And finally, a huge, huge thanks to all attendees who are actually challenging us to get better and better each time. Thank you, one and all of you, for staying right till the end. And thanks for your awesome contributions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.